bata tayo ng Math-aral. Sa Math, walang maiiwan. Math-sayang Math-aral tayo ng Math-tuto, upang ika'y umasenso. Maging matyaga, maging matalino, halina Math-aral na tayo. Maging matyaga, maging matalino, halina Math-aral na tayo. Halina Math-aral na tayo. Halina Math-aral na tayo. Halina, 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 aral na tayo.
Good day everyone, welcome to Project SWORD. Let me introduce our next speaker. She is a graduate of Bachelor in Secondary Education, major in Mathematics at Bicol University, Legazpi City. She earned unit of Master of Arts in Mathematics program at Ateneo de Naga University and graduated Master of Arts in Mathematics Education at Rizal Technological University, Mandaluyong City. Previously, she is a teacher from the following school: Tinago High School, Don Bosco Technological College, Mandaluyong City, Naga City Science High School, Camarines Sur National High School, Naga City, St. Joseph School, Naga City. She is also instructor at Camarines Sur Polytechnic College, Naga Campus, and now is Bicol State College of Applied Sciences and Technology, Naga City. Now, she is a senior high school teacher at High Wheels Integrated School. Let us welcome Ma'am Florence Gaduwa.
Thank you, Sir Murray, for the introduction. I am pleased to be able to contribute in Project SWORD. May this endeavor help our learners in the senior high school as they journey on their statistics and probability class. Let me begin now my lesson. We are now with Quarter 3, Week 6, Word Problems on Mean and Variance of a Probability Distribution. This is under the MELC competency, solves problems involving mean and variance of probability distributions. For our objectives, we have, at the end of the lesson, you are expected to solve problems involving mean and variance of probability distributions. Let us present first the pretest. Directions. Read and answer the given problem. Show your complete solution. Sandra is paid 20 pesos whenever the results of tossing two coins are both heads, but pays 10 pesos whenever the results are not both heads. What is his expected gain per toss? Okay, let us understand well this problem. In here, si Sander is said to be receiving 20 pesos kapag yung result of the tossing of two coins ay parehong head. At kapag naman hindi, okay, he has to pay 10 pesos. Okay, recall tayo ng konti on what we discussed already. Okay, here. The event of tossing two coins has the following outcomes: head-head, head-tail, tail-head, and tail-tail. And then for the value of random variable x, wherein this x is referring to the number of heads. In the head-head, okay, there are two h's, so it means that that value of random variable is 2. For the head-tail, that is 1, since there is only one h. For the tail-head, that's 1, since there is also one head. And then for the tail-tail, as you could see, there is no h in here, so it means to say that that value is 0. Okay. With this distribution, or the list that you could see in the second column, okay, we can already tell the probabilities of x. Okay, so the random variable x are said to be 0, 1, and 2. For the 0, as you could inspect in here, there is just one 0. So it's 1 out of the 4. So the probability of x of 0 is just 1/4. And then for the 1, as you could observe, there are two 1s in here. So the p of x, or the probability of x for 1 is 2 over 4. Or when you reduce that, that is 1/2. And then for 2 naman, okay, there's just 1 2 in here. So the p of x of that is 1 over 4. Okay, present na natin yung table that can show the solution for this problem. Okay, so as stated, si Sander will receive 20 pesos if the results of the tossing of two coins are both heads. So sa probability of x that I mentioned a while ago, yung p of x of having two heads is just 1 over 4. That's why we have in here 1/4. Okay, and then we consider that as again to the part of Sander. And then with his losses naman, okay, as you could see, we indicate in here -10 to show that this is a loss or kawalan ng pera to the part of Sander. And then what are said to be considered as not having two heads? Syempre, these are the head-tail, the tail-head, and the tail-tail. So if you count it, that is 3 out of the 4. That's why we have in here 3 over 4. Okay, I hope you understand now the presentation of the problem in this table. Now, to solve for the expected gain, as we know, expected value or expected outcome, this is calling us to solve for the mean. Okay, so we just have to find the product of the x and p of x. So we have in here -10 times 3 over 4. Okay, so -10 times 3 over 4, that is -15 over 2. And then, for 20 times 1/4, that is 5. Okay, to solve for the mean, we have this formula. Okay, this is a Greek letter, okay, which we read as mu. So its mu is equal to the summation of x times p of x. Okay, so that will be -15 over 2 plus 5. Kasi that's the x times p of x. We just have to add all of this. Okay, so -15 over 2 plus 5, that is equal to -2.50 or -2.5. So the expected value x is equal to -2.50. This means that Sander would lose 2.50 per toss. Okay, so we answered already the pretest. Okay, let us proceed to the next recap. In the last lesson, you have learned how to interpret mean and variance of a discrete random variable. Mean is a measure of central tendency, or we call this as a measure of location. This said to be balances the distribution. So it is also known as the expected value or the expected average outcome over many observations. Okay, with variance and standard deviation, these are measures of variability or measures of spread. So these two measures will tell us if the data in a given set are close to each other and to the mean. Okay, so yung variance and standard deviation, okay, just always remember that measures of spread ito. Okay, so it tells us that kung gaano ba kalapit o kalayo ang isang value with reference sa mean ng distribution. Okay, let us proceed to the lesson. In this lesson, we will apply what we have discussed in the past modules in the real world. We will solve problems involving discrete random variables and find their mean and variance. These measures are common measures that we are not aware that we encounter them every day. Let's have the following examples. Example 1. Mommy Joyce sells cooked sisig online. Joyce, the owner, keeps a record of the number of tubs of sisig she sells. Below is her record of her 10-day sales. Find the mean number of tubs of sisig sold in 10 days. If she claims that the least number of tubs of sisig sold in a day in her online shop is 24, is this a credible claim? Determine the variance and standard deviation. Interpret the results. So we were given in here a table showing the number of tubs of sisig sold from day 1 until day 10. Let us present now the probability distribution of it. Okay, so we have in here 5 columns. The first column is the random variable x. The second column is the probability of x. The third is the x times p of x. Okay, this column will be answering our mean. The fourth column is the x squared. The fifth column is the x squared times p of x. This fourth and fifth columns, okay, will answer our variance and standard deviation. Okay, for our x, okay, let us check the given table. Okay, as you could see in there, we have 20, 22, 25, and 28 for the number of tubs sold. Then, for the probability of x, okay, we will be counting only how many times this 20 appears. Okay, this 20 appears in the distribution. So, the 20 appears 2 times. 1 in day 3 and in day 6. Next, the 22. Okay, so it appears 3 times in the distribution. In the day 2, the day 5, and then the day 10. Next, this 25. So it appears, okay, 3 times in the distribution. That is in day 1, day 7, and day 8. This 28, okay, it appears 2 times in the distribution. Okay, so that is in day 4 and day 9. Okay, so if we try to check, okay, this p of x, that must be equal to 1 to be correct. Okay, let us now proceed to the third column. That is the x times p of x. So that is just the product of the column 1 and column 2. Okay, so that is 20 times 2 over 10. We will be having 40 over 10. Next, 22 times 3 over 10. That is 66 over 10. Next, we have 25 times 3 over 10. That is 75 over 10. Next, we have 28 times 2 over 10. That is 56 over 10. Okay, so we have to get the summation of x times p of x. So you just have to add 40 over 10, 66 over 10, 75 over 10, 56 over 10. So that is equal to 237 over 10. Then let us now proceed to the fourth column. This is the x squared. So just have to square the x, or you multiply the given value to itself. Okay, so that is 20 squared, or 20 times 20, we'll be having 400. 22 squared, that is 484. This 25 squared, that is 625. This 28, you square it, that will be 784. Okay, so let's now fill the last column, the fifth column, which is the x squared times p of x. So we will be multiplying the columns, okay, columns number 4, this one, the fourth column, and then the second column. So it's columns 2 and 4. Okay, so 2 over 10 times 400, that is 800 over 10. 3 over 10 times 484, that's 1,452 over 10. 3 over 10 times 625, that is 1,875 over 10. 2 over 10 times 784, that is 1,568 over 10. Okay, so we have to add also all these values in the x squared times p of x. Okay, that is equal to 5,695 over 10. Let us now compute for the mean, variance, and standard deviation. For the mean, okay, our formula is mu is equal to the summation of x times p of x. Okay, this is read as mu. Okay, it's a Greek letter. Okay, for the mean, we have in here, okay, this is being answered by the third column, 237 over 10, or that is 23.7. That's our mean. Okay, for the variance, okay, our formula is sigma squared. Okay, this is also a Greek letter, read as sigma. Okay, sigma squared is equal to the summation of x squared times p of x minus mu squared or mean squared. So that will be, okay, this x squared times p of x, the summation of that is this. Okay, that is the 5,695 over 10. So, or that is just 569.5 minus, okay, our mean. The mean. Okay, so that is 23.7 squared. Okay, you have to square it. Okay, so now we will be having 569.5 minus, okay, 561.69. Subtract the 2, that will be equal to 7.81. Now, let us proceed to the standard deviation. For the standard deviation, just have to get the square root of the variance. Okay, our formula is sigma is equal to the square root of the summation of x squared times p of x minus mu squared or mean squared. So, since we solved already, okay, this part in the variance, we will just be finding the square root of it. So the square root of 7.81, that is 2.79. So when we talk about the standard deviation, that is just the square root of your variance. So if in case the standard deviation is given, and then you are asked to get the variance, okay, you just have to square this SD, and then the answer of that, that is the variance. Okay, let us proceed. The variance is 7.81 and the standard deviation is 2.79. The variance indicates that the number of tabs sold in 20 days is slightly vary every day, or the data are a little spread out. Okay, so the average difference of the daily sales from the mean is 2.79. So, di ba, as we learned before, okay, when the SD is small, okay, it suggests that our data is good. Okay, so konting difference lang naman from the mean. Okay, example number 2. The school council of a certain senior high school organized a concert to raise funds for their future projects. They invested 8,000 pesos and expect to sell tickets worth 15,000 pesos. However, if it rains on the day of the concert, they will not be able to sell any tickets and they will lose their investment. According to the weather forecast, there is a 20% chance that it will rain on the day of the concert. Find the expected gain of the school council. Is this a good fundraising project? Okay, so meron na tayo ditong table. It's already presented. Okay, so kung i-analyze natin, ang problem na to, yung investment is amounting to 8,000 pesos. At sinasabi na if it rains daw, syempre wala silang i-gain. So, that will be considered as loss yung 8,000 pesos na yon. That's why may negative dito. Okay, so it's negative 8,000. And then, there is said to be a 20% chance of rain. That is why we have here 0.20. Okay, so kung yung total na expected na maisisell nilang ticket is 15,000, you just have to subtract it from here. That's why we have here the 7,000. Okay, yung pwedeng mag-gain natin dito. Okay, kasi meron kang investment of 8,000. Okay, so yung gain mo will be 7,000. And then, for the probability of X of that, kung 20% na yung chance ng rain, ibig sabihin, there is this 80% chance na hindi uulan. Okay, so ayan na yung table natin. So, since ang tanong is about the expected gain, Okay, expected gain. So, mean ang hahanapin natin. So, same as what we did in the pretest. Okay, we just have to find the product of this x and p of x. Then, get the sum of that. Okay, ganun lang. So, 7,000 times 0.80, that is 5,600 in here. And then, sa kabila, that is negative 8,000 times 0.20. So, that is negative 1,600. Okay, so again, the formula for mean, that is mu, is equal to the summation of x times p of x. So, that is 5,600 plus the negative 1,600. That is equal to 4,000. So, it means to say that the school council is expected to gain 4,000 pesos from the ticket sales. The concert is said to be a good fundraising project since the expected value or gain is positive. Okay, so we answered the example 2 already. Okay, let us proceed to the next one. Example 3. A certain company manufactures batteries. 1 out of 50 batteries are defective, but the company does not know which ones are defective until they receive complaints from the buyers. The company makes a profit of 3 pesos for a sale of a working battery, but loss of 80 pesos for every defective battery. Find the expected value. Will the company make a profit in the long run? Okay, so we have here the table presenting the scenario in example 3. As indicated in the problem, there is a loss of 80 pesos for every defective battery. So that is negative 80 to depict loss. And then its probability of x is 1 out of 50. That is 1 over 50 as mentioned in the problem. And then also, as indicated in the problem, there is this profit of 3 pesos. So, it means to say that the probability of x of this 3 pesos, that is now 49 over 50. Okay, so let us find the product of the x and p of x in this table. 3 times 49 over 50, that is 2.94. And then, for the second one, we have negative 80 times 1 over 50. That is negative 1.6. So, I presented the answer into decimal. Okay, now let us solve for the mean. The formula to get the mean, that is mu, is equal to the summation of x times p of x. So that is equal to, okay, we just have to add all of this. Add 2.94 and negative 1.6. So that is equal to 1.34. The company is expected to gain 1.34 from each battery. Yes, they will make a profit in the long run. Example 4. The Math Society of a certain senior high school organized a raffle where the prize is the latest edition of a certain brand of calculator. The raffle aims to raise funds for their club. They were able to sell 1,000 tickets that cost 5 pesos each. If they spent 3,500 for the prize, what will be the expected gain of a student who will buy one ticket? Okay, so we have in here the table presenting the given in this example. So if you try to look at it, okay, the price of a calculator is 3,500. So when a student buy one ticket amounting 5 pesos, okay, the 3,500 less the 5 pesos for the cost of the ticket, we will be having only in here a win of 3,495. And then the probability of x for that is 1 over 1,000, since we can only declare one winner. Then for our loss, okay, there is this negative 5, okay, negative number to signify a loss, okay. So this is the amount of the ticket, that is 5 pesos, okay, negative 5 for the loss, and then the probability of X for that is 999 over 1,000. So let us complete the table. We will be finding the product of the X and then the P of X. Okay, 3,495 times 1 over 1,000, that is 3.495. Okay, let me write in here, that is 3.495. And then for the second one, that is negative 5 times 999 over 1,000. So that is negative, okay, that's negative 4.995. Now, since this is asking about the expected gain, okay, so we will be solving for the mean. Our formula is mu is equal to the summation of x times p of x. So we will be adding only the 3.495 and the negative 4.995. So adding these two, that is equal to negative 1.5. The student is expected to lose 1.5 for every ticket that he or she will buy. Remember, for each ticket you buy, you either lose 5 pesos or win a calculator. The 1.5 pesos is the average expected loss for every ticket you buy after buying more tickets. Okay, so let us proceed to the wrap-up. In this lesson, we solve real-life problems which involves discrete random variables and find their mean and variance. We also interpret the results from finding the mean and variance. Remember, mean of a discrete random variable is also known as the expected value or the expected average outcome over many observations. Whereas the variance and standard deviation, these are measures of variability or measures of spread. The variance and standard deviation will tell us if the data in a given set are close to each other and to the mean. This marks the end of our lesson in quarter 3 week 6. We were able to present few of the many applications in real life of the mean and variance of a discrete probability distribution. Once again, thank you for listening. God bless and goodbye.